Khamzat Chimaev and Bo Nickal continue to go back and forth. I mean, these guys just won't stop going at it. So we got an update on that. We're also going to get into Vegas 85 predictions. Roman Dolidze versus Nassourdine Imavov. Randy Brown's on the card, so it's going to be a good show. Lots of predictions, and we'll get to the few between these two when we return.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is The Community MMA with your host, Chris Cross.
Yes! Yes! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Baby! Baby!
What up? This is your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is a TCMMA podcast, aka The Community MMA. We just shortened it down. That's all we did. We shortened it down. A lot of things to talk about. First of all, my Miami Dolphins, which I'm repping today, are out of the playoffs. So, I mean, that's old news. So I'm going to have to watch the championship games tonight and root for somebody. So I like the Lions. Got to root for the Lions tonight. Yes, the underdogs. I love it. And I love Dan Campbell, the coach. Former interim coach for the Miami Dolphins, so got to go with them. But listen, there's all types of stuff going on in the UFC, and you got Khamzat and Bo continuing to go back and forth. These guys are just continuing to go at each other. This time, it's Bo Nickal getting in the mix. And he says, I would guess they will do Adesanya. But they're going to give Khamzat a title shot at some point. Yeah, I hope so. I don't think that he's going to have to fight again until he gets a title shot. Do I think he deserves that? No. I don't think he's fought a single 85er. He's fought less 85ers than me, and my guys aren't even in the roster anymore. You know, so Bo Nickal has some points here. Let's break this thing down. And first of all, Khamzat's fought two 185ers. Kamaru Usman, whether you like it or not, that fight was 185, and Gerald Meerschaert. So, you know, yeah, and so I get what Bo Nickal's saying. You can't discount that for 1 second. He's got a point here. He's absolutely got a point. You know, the bottom line is Khamzat has to do more. He's got to fight more opponents. He's got to get in there, and I want to see him fight for a title. And he was sort of promised that by the UFC, but it was a mixing of words. So at the end of the day, I just want to see the guy fight at this point. And, you know, I get it. He wants to fight for the title. And I think he wins the title, but we got to get some fights in and just keep beating people. Khamzat's not the guy that should be worried about losing. Just worried about getting fights and going in there and doing well. That's the bottom line. So this week, man, UFC Vegas 85. Can't wait. Some good fights, man. Middleweight, lightweight, welterweight, all in the big three. But in the main event, we're going to go right to it. Roman Dolidze, 12-2. Nassourdine Imavov, 12-4. Get ready to lock horns in a big middleweight division clash. And who's going to win this one? I don't know. That's why we do the prediction. I don't even look at it. I just do it and make a decision on the fly. And then I got to back it up and stick with it. So let me at least play it again so I can remind myself and then come back and back it up. Check this out. In the middleweight division at UFC Vegas 85, your main event. And we're 2-0 on the season. So ride with us on this one. You got Roman Dolidze coming in at 12-2, taking on Nassourdine Imavov, who comes in at 12-4. He's in fact the favorite. So let's see what it looks like. Imavov, 1 inch taller at 6'3". He's 28 years old. Dolidze, 35. Both guys stand right-handed. Now, in terms of activity, that's Imavov, 4.6 significant strikes per minute to just 3 for Dolidze, because that's because Dolidze likes to get takedowns. He gets like one every other round, maybe just a little more than that. Imavov gets one like every 3 rounds. Now, in terms of takedown defense, That's all Imavov. 72% takedown defense. Dolidze, 33%, and that's plagued him in his career. In his loss to Marvin Vettori, though, he lost by decision. Not bad. 106-71 in significant strikes. Before that, he won 4 in a row against Staropoli, Kyle Dawkins, Phil Hawes, and Jack Hermanson, just to name a few. 3 of those 4 were wins by KO. So he's won 4 of his last 5. He lost to Trevin Giles back in 2021. But it looks like he's a different fighter in, the last 5 fights for sure. Now, when we talk about Imavov, he came off the no contest to Chris Curtis, who's a tough fighter. Against Sean Strickland, he lost to him by decision with trailing 123-182 in significant strikes, but he beat Jacqueline Buckley, Edmund Shabazian, and Ian Heinisch before that. So these guys are kind of at a crossroads. I mean, one loss to Strickland, the other lost to Marvin Vettori. So they both lost to, well-respected fighters. So it's tough to make a decision here. But when you look at it, I mean, Imavov, to me, has better takedown defense, and he's a better striker. So he's going to win this fight, despite the fact that Dolidze has the momentum. I look for Imavov to win this fight with takedown defense and significant strikes on the feet to get the decision victory here in the middleweight division at UFC Vegas 85. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you got to make a decision, and that's the way we're going to go with it. But it's going to be a great fight in the middleweight division. I mean, the big 3 this week are ridiculous, but this one's important. I mean, 2 guys with solid records. And is it always for a title shot? No, it's a fight night, right? But these guys are still within contention. They're still within contention of a title. And the loser drops even further. The winner looks upward, right? Fights an opponent above him next. That's why these fights are so important. Who's moving forward and who isn't. That's the bottom line. Now, as we continue through, you got Renato Moicano and Drew Dober in the lightweight division, 17-5 versus 27-12. And Moicano, to me, is ridiculous right now. He had a few setbacks earlier, but now he's really beginning to take off. But Drew Dober's no slouch. So let's get into it. In the lightweight division at UFC Vegas 85, best division in the UFC too. You got Renato Moicano coming in 17-5, taking on Drew Dober, comes in at 27-12. This is your co-main event. Now, as we get into it, Moicano, as you know, is a tall lightweight. He's 3 inches taller at 5'11". He's 34, Dober 35, so there's really no advantage or disadvantage there. In terms of reach, 2 inches for Moicano, 72-70. He stands right-handed. Dober stands left-handed. Both guys just above 4.5 significant strikes per minute. That's at a pretty good clip. Moicano, about 1 takedown every other round. Dober, not so much. He's lucky to get 1 like every 5 rounds. But I expect this to be a stand-up striking affair. Moicano, 74% takedown defense. Dober, 56% takedown defense. So Moicano's got the advantage there. Now, in his last fight, he beat Brad Riddell by submission. Before that, he lost to Rafael Dos Anjos, a.k.a. RDA, and beat Alexander Hernandez and Jai Herbert. So he's won 3 of his last 4. Dober, on the other hand, beat Ricky Glenn, lost to Matt Frivola, but also beat Bobby Green back in December of 2022. That's a big win. It's hard to believe he beats Bobby Green and loses to Matt Frivola, but it is what it is. He also beat Rafael Alves and Terrence McKinney. So he's got some pretty good wins under his belt, but it's kind of like you just don't know what you're going to get with Drew Dober. You just really don't know what you're going to get. And when you got guys like that, I like to go against them, and it's not helpful one way or the other, but Drew Dober just isn't consistent. Renato Moicano's been in the game for a long time. In 23 fights, he's got 17 wins. So that's saying something. I believe he's going to get the win here just on sure skill. He's going to outstrike Drew Dober, keep him at distance. And, you never know. He may land a leg kick or a big strike to get the finish. But I like him to grind out a decision victory here to get the win, likely on significant strikes, maybe a takedown or 2 to move to 18-5 lightweight division, UFC Vegas 85. Yeah, and the thing I like about Dober is he's like He's short, stocky, low to the ground. He can deliver, but got to believe right now Renato Moicano is the favorite in this fight and is likely going to win this fight because of the skill level. And that's just a real simple pick for me. Hopefully it comes through. Yeah, the big three is nice this week because next you got another big one. Fight 3, Randy Brown, 17-5, Muslim Salikov, 19-4. This is fight 3, welterweight division. And man, I'm just looking at it right now, like, which way do you go on this one? We already made the pick. Doesn't mean I always necessarily remember who I picked, though. So, very close fight here. I mean, very tough pick. Let's get into it. In the welterweight division at UFC Vegas 85, you got Randy Rude Boy Brown coming in, taking on Muslim Salikov. I like this matchup, and it's in the top 3. It's fight number 3 to be exact. Now, as we get into it, Randy Brown is 4 inches taller at 6'3". He's 33, right there still in his prime. Salikov, 39 years old. Randy Brown, 78-inch reach. Salikov, 70, so it's an 8-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Now, in terms of activity, that's Randy Brown. 4.4 significant strikes per minute to 3.3 for Salikov. But Salikov likes to land a takedown every other round, so sometimes that can be helpful if he can get you down and hold you there, right? Especially for one round. Then in another, 1 out of 2 rounds, beat you on significant strikes. He wins fights that way. It happens. But Randy Brown, 74% takedown defense, not likely. He beat Wellington Turman by decision. Lost to Jack Della Maddalena, who's a good fighter, by submission. Before that, he beat Francisco Trinaldo, Chaos Williams, Jared Gooden, Alex Cowboy Oliveira. So he's doing his thing and just has one blemish on his last 6 fights, and it's against a good fighter. I mean, he had a lot of momentum for a while. Now, Salikov, 73% takedown defense. Obviously good. He lost to Nicholas Dalby by decision, but he beat Andre Fialho, lost to Li Jingliang. Okay, all these make sense. He beat Francisco Trinaldo by decision and beat Zaleski dos Santos by split decision. So, both guys are winning some good fights here, losing some fights, but, and it's tough to go against Muslim Salikov. It just is. But it's also tough to get. It's really a perfect fight here for where both of these guys are at. I mean, this is a very difficult prediction, but I'm going to lean with Randy Brown because he's got 74% takedown defense. He outstrikes Salikov by 1 strike per minute. That's like 15 to 20 per round, or you already got like a 5 to 7 significant strike edge in each round. So he's percentage-wise more than likely to win 2 rounds. If he's got to stave off any type of finish via submission or KO. If this fight goes to a decision, he's very likely to win, and I think that's what will happen. Randy Brown wins to move to 18-5 here in the welterweight division at UFC Vegas 85. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough one because I'm sitting here watching like, which way are you going to go, Chris Cross? Which way are you going to go? And that's the way we went. Randy Brown is going to get the job done. That's how we see it. Randy Brown, a.k.a. Rude Boy, is going to get the job done. But it's not an easy pick, man. This card is filled with tough predictions this week. I'm a little nervous about it, honestly. After the 6-6 week last week, or the previous week at UFC 297, we got to get it going. Now, what are the best upcoming fights before we get to the Q&A? What are the best upcoming fights? Let's take a look. Let's peek in here at the predictions playlist. So first, and these are just the ones we posted. There's a lot of fights that haven't been posted yet, but you got Volkanovski and Topuria at 1, Yuri and Rakic at 2, Burns and Maddalena. Okay, Dolidze and Imavov moving up already over fights like Mateusz and RDA, Bo Nickal and Cody Brundage. Michael Venom Page is coming at UFC 299 against Kevin Holland. We got to go. I like Kevin Holland, man. Renato Moicano, Drew Dober this week, so it's just kind of a little peek at what's going on there. So, just a little peek. So as we jump into the Q&A, it's going to be a lot of Khamzat. The Mastermind says you're talking too much about Khamzat. He's not that good, and you'll see that when he starts fighting the top 10 in any division. He's got bad cardio and can barely even make it past round 3. All right. So that's where I got to stop you. We will see when he faces a top 10. We will see what Khamzat is capable of when he faces a top 10 fighter. He's not dodging it. We as fans are not dodging it. We've been calling for it. He had it against Paulo Costa and would have whooped him, So it's not Khamzat's fault always. Yeah, he didn't make weight against Nate Diaz, but get over that, man. Get over that. At 97 says, Khamzat main event for the title. I know, that's what I want to see. Khamzat got smashed by weight limit. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he missed weight, When your best middleweight win is Gerald Meerschaert, you don't deserve to eat. Now, his best middleweight win is against Usman. See, people forget that. They're like, yeah, he fought at welterweight, but they fought at middleweight. It still counts. Khamzat had one fight against Kamaru, who has never fought at middleweight before, and he somehow got ranked. Yeah, he also beat Meerschaert in 17 seconds. But I know you guys want to discount Meerschaert, even though Meerschaert won 4 of his next 5 fights after that 17-second loss. So, it is what it is, man. Khamzat is so overrated, my lord. How the heck does he get a title shot at middleweight after barely winning a decision against a welterweight? I had Khamzat losing 2-1 against Burns and draw against Usman because first round was 10-8. Yeah, man. Everyone's, you want to bash Khamzat, it's fine. It's all good. He's still coming. Now we're getting into Ian Gary. Posted today. The previous big win over D-Rod. And then all the WAG stuff. The power of his wife's boyfriend running through him. Some would say he has the power of 2 men. Unfair. I bet his first KO loss will be because he always leaves the right side of his face wide open when throwing shots. Yeah, but the bottom line is he's throwing the shots. He's throwing the shots. And his opponents have a tough time dealing with him. They have a tough time hanging with him in the octagon, as we've seen by evidence. Ian Gary is for real. I mean, it's all fun to joke with him. You're Sean Strickland, you're others. It's fun, And we post videos and reactions about all this stuff and try to keep up with the drama, right? It's part of the gig. But the bottom line is this guy's a fighter, man. You can't take that from him. This guy is a fighter. But listen, that's what you got. You got Khamzat and Bo Nickal going at it. We got the big 3 this week at UFC Vegas 85. The Q&A is a wrap. And that's going to do it for the show today. But for now, man, listen, I hope you guys have a great day. Watch the AFC Championship and NFC Championship. I got a little basketball game today, but I'll be back for the Lions game. Looking forward to it. For now, it's your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day and God bless. As always, peace.